Hi, friends. Welcome back. I want to tell you something that's a little embarrassing. There was a season of my life where I would put on Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive and just dance in my living room by myself and definitely not gracefully. I'm not a good dancer. My dog was concerned. My husband learned to just let it happen. And the thing is, I meant it. Every word of that song. I knew I was going to survive. I'd been through enough by that point to know that I was built for hard things. I had lost my brother, survived a divorce, raised my son alone for a season. I knew I would make it. What I didn't know was what I would look like on the other side, who I would be. Whether that version of me that survived would still be someone that I even recognized. Whether surviving and actually living were even the same thing. Because I had gone from the best season of my life to what felt like the worst in about 4 years. And comparison was making every single day of it harder than it had to be. Today, I want to talk about the valley and the one thing that carried me through it when I had nothing left. I turned 40 in 2013, and I want to paint you a picture of what that felt like. I had my degrees. I had a career. I was my ideal weight. I was fit and in shape. I was walking 5 miles a day. I felt strong and clear. And like everything I had worked for was finally actually working. I had a community, friends nearby, a social life, a husband who was still figuring things out at work, but we were great. A son who was thriving, and a life that felt so full. That's the mountaintop. And I want you to remember what that felt like for you too. Because most of the women watching this have had one. A season where it was all clicking, where you felt like yourself, where the life you had built actually fit. And then something happened, or a lot of things happened. And the mountain started to feel very, very far away. In a few minutes, I'm going to tell you what finally pulled me out of the valley. It's not a strategy. It's not a full plan. It's something much simpler and much harder than that. So stay with me. By the time I was 44, I didn't have any parents left. Both were gone in 3 years, under 3 years. I had stopped walking. I had stopped moving. I had stopped doing almost anything that was just for me. Not because I stopped caring about myself, but because I was so busy carrying everyone else that I had nothing left to carry myself with. We had moved away from our community, leaving behind the friends, the community, and all the social events that we had participated in over the years to a rural area that I loved, and still love, but that was also isolating in ways that I had not fully anticipated. And then the pandemic came, and it took the last shred of connection I had left. I went 3 months without seeing my son in person. I had never in his entire life gone that long without seeing him. I was angry, and I was grieving. My husband and I were bickering because he was stressed, I was depleted, and neither of us had anything left to give the other one. I had stopped recognizing myself. And here is where comparison came in and made it all so much worse. I was watching other people's lives keep going, friends still getting together, colleagues advancing, women my age who seemed to have it all together in ways that I could only fathom. And I kept comparing, not just to them, to her, to the 40-year-old version of me who walked 5 miles a day and had it all figured out. That's the cruelest comparison of all. When you're comparing yourself to who you used to be, because you know exactly what she felt like. You know exactly what was possible. And the gap between her and the woman in the mirror feels unsurvivable some days. There were days I stopped caring about almost everything. I want to be honest with you about that. Not because I want to alarm you. I'm standing here fully on the other side of it with real professional support that helped me get here. And I'm okay. But because I think some of you are in that place right now, and you need to know that someone who looked like they had it all together on the outside was in the exact same darkness. The one thing that kept pulling me back every single time was my son. I was not going to leave him. I was not going to become the thing that I had fought my whole life not to become. Whatever it took, I was going to find my way back. For him first, and eventually for me. Here's what I know about the valley now that I did not know then. Every day that you spend comparing yourself to who you were or who she appears to be is a day that you're not building who you are becoming. Comparison does not motivate you out of the valley. It pins you to the floor of it. Last week I mentioned Romans 8:26. I promise I will come back to it. Here it is. Romans 8:26 says that the Spirit helps us in our weakness, that when we do not know what we ought to pray for, when we are too broken or too scared or too empty to even form the words, the Spirit intercedes for us with the groans that words can't express. I want you to hear what that actually means. It means you do not have to have it together to be heard. You do not have to know what to ask for. You do not have to show up to prayer with the right words or even the right faith or the right anything. You just have to show up. And something that is not you, something bigger and steadier than you, will speak for you. That verse met me on the living room floor. It met me in the car when I was crying on the way to work. It met me in the 3 o'clock in the morning moments when the math did not come out right. And the fear was louder than anything else. It was there. I was not always a woman who danced to "I will survive" with confidence. Some nights I danced because I was terrified. And it was the only thing that made me feel like maybe, possibly, I still had something left in me. And honestly, Gloria Gaynor has carried a lot of women through a lot of hard times. She deserves more credit than she gets. The combination of those two things, that verse and that song, probably sounds a little ridiculous, but they were mine. And here's what I have come to believe about getting through the valley. You do not need a perfect plan. You need something that holds you in place when the current is trying to pull you somewhere you don't want to be. Find your anchor, whatever it is, and hold on to it. First, name the comparison, the specific one that is stealing the most from you right now. Is it her, the woman in your feed who seems to have it all figured out? Is it her, the younger version of yourself that you kept measuring yourself against? Is it her, the woman you thought you would be by now? Name it. Say it out loud. You cannot fight a thing that you have not named. Second, find your anchor. Not mine, but yours. It might be a verse. It might be a song. It might be a person. It might be a promise you made to yourself or someone you love. But find the thing that holds you when everything else is pulling. Write it down. Put it somewhere that you will see it on the hardest days. Because here's the truth about the valley. You will not compare your way out of it. You will not plan your way out of it. You will anchor your way out of it one moment at a time. And every day that you stay in comparison, instead of finding the anchor, is a day that the valley gets a little more familiar, a little more comfortable, a little more like it might just be where you live now. And it is not where you live. It is where you are passing through. I danced to I Will Survive in my living room because I needed to remind myself that I would. I didn't know what surviving was going to look like. I did not know who I was going to be on the other side. I know now. She is standing here talking to you. She's not the 40-year-old version who had it all figured out. She is something better. She's a woman who went through the valley and came back with something she could not have found any other way. Whatever valley you are in right now, the comparison, the lies, the loss, the season that has taken more than it has given, you're going to make it through. Not because it's easy, because you are still here. And still here means there is still something worth fighting for. So drop a comment and let me know this. What's your anchor? The thing that holds you when everything else is pulling. It doesn't have to be deep or spiritual or impressive, just real. I want to know, and I will reply. Subscribe if this is helping. There's a new video every week. I'm not going anywhere. If you're in the valley right now and you're ready to start finding your way back with some real support, there's a link in the description box for a free discovery call. There's no pressure. It's a simple conversation, and it's there if you need it. Next week, I want to talk about something that trips up almost every woman I know who is trying to rebuild. The comparison trap is one thing, but there's another voice, a quieter, sneaky, more convincing voice that might be doing even more damage. That one is next week. I hope you'll come back. But until then, I want you to keep going because your next chapter is worth it.